I would like everyone to pay attention to the police. What are they doing? They're doing that physical censorship garbage they love doing. Okay, can we see that?
Yeah.
See how they put the tarps up?
Yeah, see if we can get that guy to walk out of the shot so we can see properly.
There we go.
There we go.
So they're putting, you know what they're doing there? They're blocking off parents.
That's not a crime scene.
No.
It's not a scene where there's a body.
No.
No.
They're blocking parents. They don't want anyone to see the parents are there. And why would the parents be outside of this? This is a college, right?
This is a vocational college.
Vocational college.
April 27th.
Okay, so this is
Liuzhou.
April 27th.
Liuzhou in Guangxi province, okay, in southern China.
Yep.
Both been there.
Yes.
We went through there on our documentary. A student got sick at school.
Yep.
Okay. Died at the hospital pretty soon after. Parents were not notified or not able to see the body 4 days later.
Yeah.
So they went, so the body's not here. They died at the hospital.
Yes.
The parents go, okay, 4 days later, you still can't let me identify my dead child.
Yes.
They go to the school
To protest.
and they're like, let me see my child. We want to know what happened to my child.
We need answers.
But they wouldn't. They covered it up. They wouldn't let the parents ask questions or talk to anybody or even see their own child at the hospital, not at the school. So they went to the school to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
They got blocked off. The cops show up in a blanket. They put up the physical censorship blanket
Yes.
around the parents
That are there trying to get answers.
so that you, as a viewer right now that you're watching this live or you're watching it in post, cannot see or hear or know about this story.
I know,
Because
isn't it
China's
tragic?
reputation is more important than some grieving parents that have not been able to claim their child.
Yeah, so I mean, this has happened before, and we've shown similar stories here, because something must have gone embarrassingly wrong at the school, and it must have been a lapse of the school's safety or
Maybe,
something.
yeah.
I'm just guessing.
It'll
Again,
be
this is a
tied to the
guess.
government.
Yeah, there'll be something like either a government's child bullied the other one and killed him by mistake, or they committed suicide because of too much pressure, or you never know what it could be.
You don't know.
There's whatever the reason, the child mysteriously fell very ill at school, was taken to the hospital immediately, died at the hospital, and the parents have not been able to see their child for 4 days. So what do? They go to the gate of the school to try and demand answers. Cops are called to block them off so that nobody can ask anything about it. No questions are asked.
No.
You know?
No.
So what did we do about this school? We wanted to know a little bit about this. This you know?
This is grim.
Yeah.
It's obviously grim.
Yeah.
Again, China would rather censor anything than to face the truth.
Yes.
And because someone's head in the government would be on the line.
Yeah.
What I did want to do, though, is every time we explore an area that we haven't shown you before, for example, in Liuzhou, wanted to take you on the ground into the city to give you an idea. So this college is in a main part of Liuzhou, a very major developed city in Guangxi, one of the bigger cities, millions and millions of people, huge city, a lot of development, a lot of aid. In fact, Xi Jinping had a visit there, so it's got a ton of priority, right? And
This is one of those cities you'll see the drone footage at night.
I'll show you later
Okay.
on that. But what I wanted you to do is take you away from this scenario, and let's actually look around the school. Because, again, this is in like a high priority, nice area.
Yes.
Because I always think it serves a purpose for you, because we know already. We know what China looks like. We've seen the entire country.
Yes.
But for you to understand that past this propaganda, what China actually looks like on the ground, I'm going to take you directly to this school. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So you see the entrance there. It's got the diamond patterns. You can see the name of the school.
Correct.
All right.
So beyond this footage, we want to take you on the ground and do some street views.
Okay.
So we're going to go beyond the Great Firewall, the stuff that China doesn't want you to see. And what they wouldn't want you to see in this scenario is maybe what it looks like in real life. Here's the school.
So you can recognize the entrance there. That's what we were just looking at, where they were hiding the parents behind the screens, right?
Yeah. And you can just let this roll. We'll just,
I will.
We'll
I
just,
will.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nice day, by the way.
Nice day. Beautiful day. But this is on the main road in a major city, right?
Yes.
What happens when you go behind the school? So like where the dorms and stuff are. What happens when you're off of a main road in China and you can copy and paste this experience we're about to take you on in any Chinese city?
Absolutely every Chinese city.
Yes.
So they're the dorms.
So new development.
Yeah.
Right. Some
This
of
is the back.
the dorms and some of the classrooms. Right. But in reality, when you look around past that, there's a banner that was just there. It's relatively new, just unveiled. When you look around, it's still being built in some areas, right? If you look around that, let's actually go on the road. So this is literally one road off the main road.
Yes.
Right.
That's still the school dorms. That's the campus basically from behind.
Yes, it's another gate, right? Let's take you on a tour. So when you
can see the dorms in the distance, yeah.
In the classrooms. Those are the school buildings. This is, again, China in real life versus nighttime drone footage propaganda, right?
Yeah.
The street view car had to go on these streets because this is a normal road in China, in Liuzhou, and around the main area.
That's an X road, yeah.
Right? Yeah. Main area.
Yeah.
So we want to take you around. It's kind of interesting, not just to like say, oh, look at how crappy it is, but also to just give you an insight into what daily life looks like for the average city dweller in China, not a rural dweller.
You mean like that little kid just standing there all day?
Yeah, thinking about his future.
Uh-huh.
The average city dweller.
Yes.
This is not the countryside farmland.
No, it's not.
This is in almost the center of Liuzhou, a city with millions of people.
Correct.
In Guangxi in southern China. So it gives you a little insight onto what kind of... I mean, this corroborates everything we've seen in China. When you drive around China off of the main highway, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And this is why... And it'll help you piece together something. Why does China put in billions of dollars to try to do outward-facing propaganda to make Americans think that China is better than America? Why do you think they need to do that? Well, this is the reality.
Yeah, because in reality, it's not all that great. What is that guy doing? He's really sus.
I was like, who's this guy?
He's doing something sus.
You think so?
Yeah, dude. It looks, he's like parking in a secret area behind the school there, dealing in something sus.
I think he's stealing gas out of that truck.
Maybe. Who knows?
He could just be doing nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
what you've got is like a bunch of nail houses here, type thing. Yep. Some of those are newly constructed.
Yeah, this is not old. The old stuff is the stuff with bricks. And when I say old... Usually that stuff means it's from the 70s or 80s.
Yes. Look, that's got brand new burglar bars on it. They're all shiny.
These are new, right?
Yeah.
Some of these buildings are new. So this is your average city-dwelling citizen that's not in the shiny high-rise.
Yeah.
This is how the majority of Chinese people live.
They do.
And it's much worse when you get out into the countryside. Remember, this is basically a city center. When you get out into the countryside in China, it gets dire.
Yeah, you can see the new construction up there, right?
Yeah. And it's just a glimpse into, and I just wanted to do exactly where that story happens so you can have some more context here.
I wonder what happens here. It's like, hey, kids, get off my rubble.
You think they're...
instead of get off my lawn.
Yeah, get off my rubble.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
There is a guy at some point standing in said rubble. Isn't it just so grim? It's Syria.
It does look like it, yeah. I mean, it looks like a war zone. It actually does.
Yeah.
But this is,
this wasn't cherry picked.
No,
this was the shot we just showed.
Because we were trying to research the university, so we used the Baidu Street View, which, is like Google Street View basically. It's a knockoff of that, right? So we went down and we were like, what are we looking at here? Yeah. Because you wouldn't know if you saw, look, there's chickens on the road there.
Yeah, from that main shot, you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. And you know what? The thing is, this is exactly how we remember China.
Yeah.
It's exactly this.
Yes.
This is the real anywhere you go in China, not any specific region or city, anywhere you go in China. Once you get off the main roads, once you start exploring, you'll start to see things like this.
And again, it's not even exploring, it's literally in the city.
Sure. It's next to this major university.
Yes.
So this is where the college kids, when they finish classes, if they want to go for like a romantic walk with their date, this is where they end up.
Quite literally. I mean, the gate of the university is right there.
It's not even a gate. You can go into this area. We'll drive through
show
it.
you. I took you guys into the town here. We're going to go into the actual town.
Okay.
Which I think is kind of fascinating.
Okay, so you can see the street view up there. You saw it for a second.
Yes. We're at 22 out of 50 for the super chat goals.
Oh, excellent. Getting close.
Guys. Thanks. This is we're getting into the town here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like, this is basically the suburbs if you think about it.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
I would call this the suburbs.
It's right next to a huge university.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would expect anywhere in the world, right next to a big university, you would expect it to be a fairly decent area,
Mm-hmm. But it is. This is a fairly decent area for China.
Yeah.
It is. Like, this is not below par.
No.
You know what I mean? This is your average place.
You can see the university buildings there, actually, in the distance.
Oh, there's the dude. This is the guy.
There's a guy
he says,
what?
Pause that real quick. I'm not going to make you pause it ever again.
Okay. Whoops.
But you know what that guy does?
What?
His name's Mason.
Oh, let me get back to him. Is he here? He's close by.
He's on the left.
Okay. Okay, I went a bit too far back
That's all
as
right,
usual.
don't worry about it.
He's coming.
He's coming. This guy's name is Mason. We actually know him pretty well.
Oh yeah, because good old Mason, this is what he does.
He likes to throw bricks.
He does.
If you know, you know.
He's got ample supply of them. Let's put it that way. For those of you wondering about the rubble everywhere, this is quite normal. You'll get these.
I stood on one for a thumbnail.
What'll happen is in these particular kind of areas is they'll build these very cheap concrete houses because they live in those areas, right? Yep. But then they'll build them and they'll make them taller so that if the government comes to take the land away, they'll get compensated more per stories. Okay, so those particular ones that have been knocked down, that means they've already been compensated. They're going to get smashed, and the government's going to come in and build something there, right?
Yeah.
But all the other ones that are not smashed, people will remain living in them.
Yes.
You know,
that's how it works.
For as long as they can before the government comes and forcefully removes them. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's usually the case.
Pretty vile, all the trash and stuff everywhere. Yeah. But what do you expect?
I mean, take some pride in where you live.
Suppose. I mean. The mentality in China is like, well, the government should be dealing with this because they're they're a communist government.
Yeah.
Yet they don't.
Yeah, exactly.
The communist government will take your land and house.
They do.
Yeah, they will literally do that.
Yeah.
That's what they're known for.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's, again, there's a very specific reason we're showing you this on the ground footage is because this is the reality of China. You can have thousands of these drone shots, and it's always of the same handful of cities, by the way. Mm-hmm. You'll always see the same flashy buildings.
They'll even do it here, which I'll show you in a minute. This is the town, by the way.
This is right outside the entrance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Though?
So this is where you get your food. There's some restaurants. There's a little bar there. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
This is the China we know.
Yes. We've hung out in many a place. There's a little Chua place over there.
Skewers. You get skewers there.
Chuan.
And people will sit there on their plastic chairs and drink beer and have fun. I mean, it's fun.
Oh, yeah. I got fond memories.
Me too. Yeah. But then you have to think about where you are.
Yes.
You look around and you go,
you also got to wonder about the meat you're eating. Like, where is it sourced?
And you have to actually be concerned about that.
Yes.
And this is the kind of place you get gutter oil for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
By the way, pause that there.
Okay.
See those bicycles?
Oh, yes. You can see there's a couple of bicycles there.
This is poetic because this is a little hangover of what happened in China.
The shared bike boom. There was a scam of a thing that happened, and it was insane. I've made a couple of videos about it in the past. But this shared bike investment fraud happened in China where they got so much money invested in them as long as they pumped out the bikes. And they produced millions and millions of bicycles, and obviously it was too much supply. There wasn't enough demand. And so then other companies saw this as a great way to make money. They also started these startups, these shared bicycle startups. Millions and millions. Mobike, Blue, something or other. There was a whole bunch of them. And what happened was the guys that, the bosses of these companies, they'd steal all the money and run away. Then the bicycle companies would go bankrupt, and they would have millions of these bikes just trashing the place, all on the sidewalk, like blocking everyone's way. So the government actually basically picked them all up and threw them in these huge, like, open fields stuff. And this is just a small one.
Yeah.
This is a small one.
There's mountains.
It pisses me off a lot because the amount of energy that was used to make these bikes.
Because the government simultaneously, when this happened, they made these hundreds of millions of bikes or whatever. Do you know what they did? They pushed to the rest of the world that you guys are doing nothing and we're going forward with green technology.
Yes.
We're making sure everyone has access to bikes that they pay for, by the way.
Yes.
They beep with their cell phone or whatever. And then they get access to it. And then their carbon footprint goes down. Oh, yeah? Well, what about the carbon footprint making these hundreds of millions of bikes?
They destroyed the environment to create these things because think about all the energy you have to use to smelt the metal, to create the rubber for the tires, all the electronics, all the bits and pieces. They created this huge amount of waste, and then they weren't used, most of them, and they just ended up in these big landfills. So now what do you got to do? If you want to recycle that stuff, you have to use a whole lot more energy.
Yes.
Melting down the metal and all that.
It's
one of the biggest wastes in human history. I have no idea how many of these things were made, but there were hundreds of millions of these things. If you've seen the piles, if you've seen the pictures and the footage, it's absolutely
insane. This is just
insane.
a new one, by the way, because there's new footage. They're still dealing with it.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Every city had this.
So you will always find in these rubble piles like that stolen bikes, because they'll just, the locals will recycle them, try to sell them for scrap and things like that.
These dudes walking home. Imagine this is your life. You're strolling on home through the rubble, and you're like, wait, when did the bomb go off?
Sure. Yes. Fairly depressing, but it's really interesting. Our probably second or third ADV China episode that we filmed about superstitions, we rode into near our shop. Almost looks exactly the same. It's very far away from this.
I honestly could barely tell.
You would not know. I challenge our audience to go watch that and see if you can tell the difference between this particular little urban village and
because this is like thousands and thousands of times over as this village, as this neighborhood, I should say, because it's in a major city. The stairs look precarious.
Oh yeah, look how thin they are.
I like this. Look at this China graffiti. But my favorite part about that, I don't know if you've seen that. The China graffiti had minions.
Yes.
There was a minion.
It's your favorite. I like this better. Good study, day.
So good study day up is a phrase in Chinese which means study hard and your future will improve.
好好学习天天向上.
Yeah, so
that's actually a Mao Zedong quote, I believe.
Yes, and I think so. And if you translate it directly, it says good study day up.
Yeah.
So they translate it directly, but then still got it wrong because they wrote instead of up.
Remember, I made those T-shirts. 好好喝酒天天向上.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I wonder if they
drink alcohol day up.
I wonder if they just didn't finish the sentence says good study a day you're mom gay.
I mean, it's possible.
That's actually what they want.
Yeah, exactly. They got that wrong. So this is the same city.
Yeah. You see what they do?
Bam. Exactly. This is what you're seeing on the internet. You see this, but we've just shown you what it looks like on the ground next to a major university in that city.
Yeah.
China is the land of shortcuts and facades. And this is a facade. All of these things you see are a facade because they hide the filth and they hide the problems.
Yes.
Which China faces many. And it's such a disservice to the people of China.
It is.
Because everybody thinks China's got it all sorted out because, fairy lights.
That's it. You get spraying fountains with lights on it, and all of a sudden this is Liuzhou. No, Liuzhou is what we just showed. The vast majority of people live like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Ridiculous.
It is. It's dumb. So this is the same city. Yep.
This is what you get. This is the real life in China. Does not want you to see the reality.
Nope.
Because they want your investment money.
Yeah. China's living in the future, remember?
I remember you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we...
This is actually going to be a mini documentary.
Yes. This is just like they're being attacked by excavators.
They'd be like, no, you come to the fire now.
Right.
Singing Bible songs. And it said, no, Speed Racer, no. And it had pictures of our scooter.
Yeah, you're not a peeping Tom who's out in public who should be actually just thrown in jail.
We pretend like we had a boombox. We're like, push a rock or something. Like, okay, Harvester of Sorrow.
Oh, Lord.
Just a little bit earlier on, they're just asking for kisses and stuff.
Yeah, now it's just full-on harassment.